Well, whenever they go head-to-head, Syracuse and Georgetown usually provide the fireworks. Just in lacrosse, the Orange and the Hoyas have faced off in the NCAA tournament 4 times, but haven't faced off in the regular season since 2013. Today, number 8 Syracuse cruised to an 18-12 win over number 13 Georgetown, and it feels like this team is finally hitting its stride. Heading into conference play next week, you couldn't have asked for a better appetizer for the rest of the season. Syracuse lacrosse is here and is ready to fight for a national championship, and for once, that doesn't really seem like hyperbole. Well, let's break it all down. It's Orange Press Pass, and it starts right now. Welcome inside our CitrusTV studios. It's time for Orange Press Pass. Nicholas Waley alongside Josh Solomon, Sydney Chan. Guys, this was a game that even started pretty slow, but Syracuse really put on the pressure, especially in that second quarter. Josh, what are your first thoughts?
My first thoughts is this team can score, Nick, and I'm excited about it. Sydney, I mean, we saw 18 goals from this team today. It was the second most this season. And what I'm thinking is, well, when was the last time that Syracuse had that many goals? It was 20 against a bad St. Joseph's team. This time, it's a team inside the top 15 of college lacrosse rankings. So I'm excited that hopefully this team can take this, as Nick said in the intro, take this, build on it, and continue scoring.
Syracuse really prepared well for this one because my first thought is that this game showed the difference between depth and dependence. Syracuse really knew coming into this one that Georgetown relies so heavily on Rory Connor. When a guy leads your team in goals, when he takes over a quarter of your shots and accounts for over 40% of your scores, you know that he's going to be hot. And Syracuse, on the other hand, really spread the wealth with 9 different goal scorers, and that was the difference.
Well, the 18-12 scoreline certainly does look like it was a bit of a blowout, but it certainly wasn't the case, particularly to start. Let's take a look at what happened between Syracuse and Georgetown, a top 15 matchup. These are two teams that have met 3 times previous. This is the 24th meeting. First time that these two teams have played in Syracuse since 2012, and Georgetown, they won that day and got things going really well. In the early going, Joe Caesar got the second goal of the game, and then Natty Mason made it 3-1 Georgetown, but that would be the largest lead that Georgetown would have all game long. Syracuse would then go on this crazy run, and to finish off the first quarter, Finn Thompson makes the most of the Georgetown mistake defensively. Syracuse up 4-3 at the end of the first. Going into the fourth, though, the onslaught offensively continued. Finn Thompson grabbed his 20th goal of the season. This was his 7th straight multi-goal game. 3rd season in a row where he has had 20-plus goals. Really impressive from the senior captain. But then the goals would keep on coming. Joey Spallina, there's a reason why we talk about him every week. The athleticism, the dive, he put Syracuse up 4. Then to make it an 8-point Syracuse advantage, it was Michael Leo who joined the party, assisted by Joey Spallina. Goal number 17 on the year. It would end an 11-1 run from the Orange going into the break. Syracuse up 12-6. Going into the second half, now Finn Thompson would pick up right where he left off in the first. He would get his 21st of the year. Then Michael Leo, goal number 19 on the year for him. He has been excellent. A second hat trick of the year for Michael Leo. He just starts to come up in those big moments when it really does matter. However, Georgetown, they started to fight back. Rory Connor would find the back of the net to make it 15-10. And despite maybe a few extracurriculars as well, which is why Georgetown really started to fight back into this game, Wyatt Hoddle made it 17-10 Syracuse going into the fourth quarter. Another assist as well by Joey Spallina. Then put the final cherry on top of the Syracuse cake. Michael Leo, with a man down, would make it 18-12 Syracuse, and that's where this game would end up. A career high in goals for Michael Leo with 5. And in the end, Josh, this is a Syracuse team that we talked about the offense already, how good they have been, but particularly that second quarter is what won Syracuse the game.
That is exactly what was the difference for Syracuse in this game. Finally able to take a maybe 1-goal, 2-goal margin. They were down 3-1. The Orange turned things around to end this game.
And when you look at these top goal scorers on the two teams, Liam Connor and Rory Connor was who we all really thought was going to show out a lot. When you compare them to Syracuse's two top players, and Michael Leo and Joey Spallina, who had the most impact on the team, Syracuse as a whole just looked a lot more unified and were really able to outsmart Georgetown's defense and really get the job done.
And in that second quarter, like I mentioned, it was an unbelievable run. I mean, this is a Georgetown team that started the game really well. And I mean, we were watching this. We got a little bit concerned.
A little bit nervous,
slightly,
yeah.
you know. And in a way, we were like, oh, not again. It's a Syracuse team that's going to start slow, that has to fight back. But it didn't take them very long. Going into that second quarter, the offense just completely took over.
Yeah, I mean, when you're having 8 goals in a row, fill up the score sheet, or 8 goals in that second quarter, the most that SU has had all season in a single quarter, Sydney, I mean, you're going to have good results, you would assume. I mean, if Georgetown kept up with that scoring pace, that would have been crazy, but SU got it done.
Yeah, absolutely. Syracuse in the past has really relied on a late quarter. They've gotten out on a few slower starts, especially on their road trip. So it was really exciting to see Syracuse light up in that second quarter. You said it, Josh, and Nick as well. 8 goals in that second quarter, the most ever in a quarter this season. And overall, that just kept plummeting and kept snowballing, rather, as the game went on.
And if there's one thing to point out, that Georgetown, this is their worst defensive performance of the season. 18 goals conceded. This is a Georgetown team that was coming into the game. They were one of the best defenses in the country.
It is, and Georgetown has actually never been outscored in a first quarter this season. So when they did end up getting out to that 3-1 start, I thought that maybe the trend was going to continue, but that didn't seem to be the case.
And a big reason for that offensive onslaught. We talked about Joey Spallina a lot, but you have to give credit to Michael Leo and Finn Thompson as well. I mean, it is a 3-headed monster, but these two heads have been excellent. And Josh, in a lot of ways, I think Finn Thompson as well, he just is, and Michael Leo as well, they've just gone up to another level this season.
I mean, the 4th hat trick this season for Michael Leo and the 2nd of the year for Finn Thompson. I mean, if you're talking about these two players, the thing is, all the attention is on Joey Spallina in these games, and why does that help? Well, it helps with these two getting open, getting them in one-on-one matchups, and that's how both of them can succeed.
Absolutely. I love how our producers put it on that graphic. The Hoya Destroyers, just absolutely electric. And I think what really stands out the most about these two players is how nifty they are and how creative they are. I mentioned it during our OPP on the Half. Follow us on Twitter and X, but Syracuse had really been taking a lot of the same shot overall in the first quarter. But once Finn Thompson and Michael Leo really got their groove, figured out some different shots, really were quicker with dodges and different things, that really ended up going through Anderson Moore, who is also an amazing goalkeeper.
And Michael Leo ties his career high of 5 goals on the day, 4 points for Finn Thompson. But in a lot of ways, this is a senior class that we have such high expectations for. It was a #1 recruiting class, one of the best recruiting classes we have ever seen. How important is the fact that they're stepping up in a big moment like they are now, because Joey Spallina, of course, was part of that freshman class as well, and he is, of course, the epitome of what Syracuse has been in the last 4 years.
Right.
But we talked about this a little bit before the show. He's not completely the star guy. I mean, it's a little bit harsh to say. He had the most points today, but in a lot of ways, you know, we talk about him chasing the record, but he's become the facilitator even more than in previous years.
I completely agree with that, because here's the thing. In these last few games, you're talking about Spallina, you're not talking about goal scoring. You're talking about assists.
Yeah.
Today, 2 goals, 4 assists. You think about games prior to this against Air Force, 8 assists. It's unbelievable what Joey Spallina is doing, not as a goal scorer, not as that, oh, you think of Joey Spallina, he's the Tewaaraton watch list guy. He's going to score all these goals. He's going to lead Syracuse in that scoring attack. No, Sydney, it's the facilitator.
I would argue that because he is a facilitator, that gives him an even higher chance to be the Tewaaraton finalist and in that final conversation, because what the committee is looking for is for all-around good lacrosse players. And that doesn't mean being a ball hog. That doesn't mean taking every shot yourself. That means putting the interest of your team ahead of anything else. And that's what Joey Spallina has really shown in these past games, being a really great assister, but also having some flying squirrel moments, as he did in today's game.
The one thing you'll notice, every time that Joey Spallina has multiple assists in a game, Syracuse are comfortably ahead.
That is very true, Nick. And I mean, look at the last 5 games more specifically. 19 assists in the last 5. That averages to 4 assists per game.
And certainly will be on that Tewaaraton watch list and probably the front runner at the moment. When we come back, we'll get a chance to talk to our Syracuse men's lacrosse beat reporter who was in the dome for this one. Cole Purvis will join us after the break.
Here you go.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And welcome back inside our CitrusTV studios. Nicholas Waley here. It is time to break down this game between Syracuse and Georgetown because we have plenty of footage in the film room.
And you take a look at this replay angle right here. Gill's got a wide open lane to the end zone.
Welcome into the film room. Let's take a look at Syracuse's offense a little bit. And this first clip is from earlier in today's game. We got Wyatt Hoddle, who doesn't have the ball just yet. It's passed from Charlie Crafton over to him. And let's stop right here. Look at that. 1, 2, 3, 4. I mean, how many defenders are in front of him? And yet, let's roll it. Still ends up in the back of cage. We'll take another look at this one. You have one defender face guarding him, 2 in front of him, and yet still finds it in the back of the net. Wyatt Hoddle, the first player to highlight. Now the second one, we talked about him already in the first part of our show. It's got to be Joey Spallina. Let's roll the tape. Let's take a look at Joey Spallina. Behind cage, one-on-one. Let's stop it right here. Okay? He's got the defender, the All-American defender that is Ty Banks on him from Georgetown. And now he's got him on the back of his heels. This is where he makes his move. Let's roll the tape. Joey Spallina, spin move, flying saucer, and throws it in the back of the net. Take another look at it right here. That quick spin move to his right side gets in front of cage, no one around him, and throws it up top to the top right corner. We'll see it again because it's just such a beautiful goal by Joey Spallina here. That's where mom hides the cookies in the top shelf. Unbelievable. We've seen Syracuse's offense, but how about Sydney with Syracuse's defense? What do you got?
Thanks, Josh. You're right. Syracuse's offense was really outstanding today, but what really stood out to me was Syracuse's defense. It was aggressive, and it really turned defense into offense, which ended up getting some really cool goals. Let's talk about this first play right now, which we're first going to talk about the goalkeeper, Jimmy McCool. Watch very carefully because it's not just one save. Wait for it. Turns around the corner. It's another save right after that. And that is exactly what Syracuse needs out of its star goalkeeper with so many Hoyas around the area that are really, really lethal and really looking to actually attack. Here is Rory Connor, who Syracuse really expected to have so many shots. But again, like I mentioned earlier, Syracuse held Rory Connor to just 2 goals today, which was his first game without a hat trick this season. Now the second one is Syracuse turning its defense into its offense. Let's take a look right here. Less of a goalkeeper play and more of something from Riley Figueres, who ends up taking the turnover. And rather than settling down, he keeps his head cool, calm, and collected, whips it around, finds it over to Dante Moore, and then boom! Michael Leo right there to end up with the score. And this is exactly what coaches are looking for from their defense, to turn that defense into offense, stay aggressive, because those transition chances are really what can make the difference in the game and really what helps Syracuse pull away from Georgetown. So we've heard what Josh had as his plays of the game and mine as well. I'm really curious to see what Nick, our host, had as his moment of the game.
Well, we cannot forget, Sydney, that the Achilles heel for Syracuse has been those slow starts throughout Gary Gates' tenure as head coach. But this time, it really didn't take long for the Orange to bounce back. After going down 3-1, SU tied it up late first, and our OPP moment of the game came when, well, let's take a look, because what happened was this was, like I mentioned, late in the first quarter. James Carroll collects, and he loses his footing. Look, Johnny on the spot, Finn Thompson, he finds the back of the net, capitalizes. He did not think twice. A laser past the out-of-position goaltender Anderson Moore, and it led SU, it was a lead that SU just didn't relinquish, and it was en route to a big win. When we come back, we will now hopefully get a chance to talk to our men's lacrosse beat reporter Cole Purvis. He was having a little bit too much fun at the press conference, so hopefully we're going to see him after the break. Welcome back to Orange Press Pass. Nicholas Waley, Josh Solomon, Sydney Chan still with you. And I know I teased you guys a few times already.
Quite a few.
But finally, we're going to be joined now by our men's lacrosse beat reporter, Cole
There he
Purvis.
is.
Yay.
Cole, you took way too long today. We're waiting for you. We're on a schedule here. But wanted to ask you about the game in particular, because this is now the 6th win in a row for Syracuse. How important is this win over the Hoyas?
This win was extremely important, being against a former Big East rival that SU hadn't played since all the way back in 2021. Their first meeting since being Big East rivals, and to stop a team like Georgetown that's really dynamic on the offensive side of the ball. Attackman Rory Connor came in with 27 goals, so he was one of the most dynamic scorers in the country. And SU really shut him down today, held Connor to just 2 goals, which is a season low. So the defense played really well. And just to have this wire-to-wire performance in which SU dominates offensively, putting up 18 goals on the day, a huge, very encouraging sign for the Orange to get this one done in their return to the Dome and build some momentum. It's now a 5-game winning streak, and SU is playing really, really well here.
Cole, something that I think a lot of fans aren't going to remember from this game is how Syracuse was down 3-1 in the beginning of it. What was head coach Gary Gates' response about that, and just how the team rallied and eventually going on an 11-1 run?
Well, what changed after Syracuse went down 3-1 was that John Mullen really dominated at the faceoff X, and not just winning at the faceoff dot, but also distributing to his teammates. Finn Thompson and Joey Spallina gave their faceoff man a lot of credit in the post-game press conference, saying that the offense is at its best when he's winning those draws and distributing right off of the draws. There were a couple of times where he would win it at the dot and then immediately feed one of the attackers on the wings, and they would just sting one home. And so he is really a big cog in this machine for SU, and he deserves a lot of credit for his work today, winning those faceoffs and then passing him off to his playmakers, and Spallina and Thompson and Leo as well, who had tying a season-high 5 goals, really benefited from his strong play.
Hey, Cole, it looked like a packed dome in there, and I'm really curious because we were exploding during Syracuse's 8-goal quarter in the second quarter. What was the atmosphere like in the dome?
So in talking about the atmosphere, Georgetown head coach Kevin Warren, who was really funny, he gave a great presser after the game, said he was getting heckled for the entire 60 minutes of this one. He wouldn't go into exactly what was said by the fans, but he said that this is just such a great city for lacrosse, and that was really on display today. The atmosphere in the Dome was the best. Not quite as good as the Maryland game back in February, but it rivaled it at least a little bit. These fans were rowdy today, and the team really fed off of that. Even down 3-1, there was a little bit of a lull in the Dome, but then the crowd came to life and really spurred this team on as SU went on to score 11 of the next 12 goals, dominated today, and a lot of that was because of these fans. And boy, does it feel good for this team to be back in the Dome after 6 games on the road. Just a great place to play, and it really showed today with these fans.
And Cole, I just want to ask you one more. We're coming down to the stretch. We're going into conference play very soon. Next week, first game against number 6 Duke, who did beat Denver today. Is this Syracuse team a national contender?
I mean, how in the world could you not say that they're a national title contender? 5 wins in a row, dominating, absolutely bludgeoning 13th ranked Georgetown today. And the reason I think they're truly a national championship contender is because the luxury that they have offensively with so many different scores. Today was a Joey Spallina and Finn Thompson today, and Michael Leo also contributed as well. But the last game against Denver, Luke Roa was the best player on the field with 4 goals. Peyton Anderson can get back into the action as well. So it's really an embarrassment of riches that SU has offensively. So many guys that they can go to, an incredibly deep squad. Not really a ton of weaknesses for this team. You talk about goalie Jimmy McCool, who had a bounce-back performance as well. So all across the board, this team is elite, and they've beaten some of the best teams in the country, so no doubt they could be lifting the trophy when it's all said and done on Memorial Day weekend. But a lot of time to go until there, and they've got to take it one game at a time.
Our men's lacrosse beat reporter, Cole Purvis, thank you so much, my friend. That's amazing work in the last couple of weeks. Get back home nice and dry. But, you know, Cole mentioned just the plethora of riches that Syracuse has. And while Joey Spallina gets a lot of the attention chasing the program record in points for Mike Powell, you have to give Finn Thompson a bit of credit because he is having his best year in orange yet. Our OPP player of the game had 4 points, 3 goals, and an assist, but even more than that, the senior captain came back to help defensively late in the game to slow the Hoya offense in transition. And with 21 goals already on the campaign and 7 straight multi-goal games, Finn Thompson isn't slowing down anytime soon. This Syracuse offense is alerting the rest of the country, and Thompson is at the heart of it. When we come back on OPP, we'll get ready for what's going on. We gotta let you know what's going on in men's basketball as well, and Sydney and Josh will get to sound off.
They'll test you. Try to break your will. But however loud the loudness gets, however many cheese puffs may fly, you're the driver, the one in control. Stand firm. Just wait. And move only when you hear the click that says they're buckled in for the drive. Never give up till they buckle up.
And welcome back inside our CitrusTV studios. OPP is still going. Nicholas Waley, Josh Solomon, and Sydney Chan with you. We have to take a break, though, from lacrosse. Big news on the Hill. Syracuse, it's been reported by Pete Thamel, will be hiring Jerry McNamara, of course, the now former Siena head coach, to be the next head coach of Syracuse men's basketball. Massive news. It was rumored a little bit in the last couple of days, particularly after the first round of the tournament. Josh, what are your thoughts on this?
My initial thoughts, I think, is Syracuse just doing the same thing over again? We were talking all this time, hiring inside the family, hiring in-house. Jerry McNamara was in-house. Same thing as Adrian Autry.
And he left because Autry got the job.
Right. So, I mean, listen. Did he play this game? And we have to talk about it because this first-round Duke game, I think, really solidified him as the head coach candidate, as the lead head coach candidate. But what's the whole thing about hiring a new athletic director, getting a new chancellor, of just staying in-house, Sydney?
I mean, at the same time, though, you do have to praise Coach Mac's overall accolades. Part of the 2003 Syracuse men's basketball national championship team. I don't know if he's going to be able to get Syracuse back to that stage and back dancing in a little bit, but overall, he's an amazing player and really took the Siena team from the ground down. During the 24-25 season, McNamara's first at the helm, he improved Siena's record from 4-28 to 14-18 in overall. Of course, as you mentioned, that game against Duke was shocking in a great way for him.
And what will be interesting to see is, of course, NIL is a huge factor in this. ESPN did report that Syracuse promised GMAC NIL that would be in the top third in the ACC. So certainly will be very interesting to see what happens next. Let's take a look at what's the upcoming schedule though for men's lacrosse, and we're getting to that point. The conference play is right around the corner. Number 6 Duke and then number 5 North Carolina in just the next 2 weeks.
I'm really glad Syracuse got through this Georgetown game because Georgetown was really Syracuse's probably toughest non-conference opponent, and now just one more non-con game before facing Duke, who, like you mentioned, Nick, had a complete big comeback versus Denver. That's a hot Duke team.
Well, we're at the point of the show when both Josh and Sydney will get to speak their opinion. Of course, it's time to sound off.
18 goals today for Syracuse men's lacrosse against Georgetown and a 6-goal win for the Orange. If they could do it today against a top 15 team, why can't this trajectory continue for the rest of the season? Maintain this standard. Syracuse, coming into the season, was a national championship favorite. Now things are looking bleak. Going into this 6-game road trip, no one thought Syracuse could end it with 4 wins. In this game, okay, maybe you thought Syracuse might win, but not by this margin, not by this amount of goals. The scoring margin right now is 4 goals for Syracuse against its opponents. You had the 4-goal win over number 11 Johns Hopkins earlier this season. And despite starting 2 goals down in this game, Syracuse rallied back and went on an 11-1 run. So my saying is, if you can do this against a team like Georgetown, which is one of the best teams in the country, why can't you continue having this great scoring margin, scoring more than 15 goals on your opponents for the rest of the year?
Now, everybody watching this game at home, in studio, in the dome, take a deep breath because we got through it. And that's exactly what Syracuse needs to do as it continues its schedule. Take a deep breath and take everything piece by piece. In that first quarter, everything was rushed. The crowd was hyped up in a little bit of a bad way, not seeing the Orange in over a month, maybe some nervous energy going on, because in that first quarter, Syracuse really took any shot that it could. But at the same time, a lot of the shots were the same shot over and over again, always down low, and that was how Anderson Moore was able to stop them. Once Syracuse got its head on its shoulders and really figured out how to be creative, have a lot more fluidity within its offense, its midfield, and its defense, and really work on those transitions, that's when Syracuse started to pull away. So as Syracuse enters its conference opponents, it really needs to maintain the same level of calmness because that's how they're going to go far.
Well, one team that's already gone pretty far this season is Syracuse women's basketball, and that will be our next OPP. Tip-off for that one is tomorrow. Still TBD on what time our show will be. This is a Syracuse women's team. Going into the game against Iowa State in the first round, the Cyclones were 7.5-point favorites. Syracuse got the job done by nearly double digits.
And here's the thing, what happened for Syracuse? Olivia Schmidt happened,
Oh,
and that
yeah.
was unbelievable performance by her. A career high in three-pointers, a career high in points by halftime, by the way, Sydney.
What I really love about this team is that FLJ has preached our family versus their team. They're a very connected squad, even though they've brought in a lot of transfers, some freshmen, of course, the outstanding Uche Zoje Rookie of the Year in the ACC. That just works so well. But UConn, on the other hand, of course, the #1 overall seed is lethal, and everybody knows what comes when playing UConn.
Yeah, Coach Jack did say today in the presser that UConn is the best team in the country.
But here's the thing, if there's a head coach that I want to face UConn, it's FLJ doing so now for the second time in 3 years. She knows how to coach against a team like UConn and also against Paige Beckers, who dropped, what was it, like 33 points. The last time they faced each other, it was still a closer game. So I'm happy that FLJ
so
is
excited
the
for
SU
this
head
game.
coach.
It'll be very exciting. We got postseason basketball on the women's side. Thank you so much for tuning in. For Sydney Chan and Josh Solomon, I'm Nicholas Waley. Thank you so much for tuning in and have a good one.